Hi everyone, in this video we are going to create JWT token utility class. This class will be used to generate the token, validate the token, and it will also be used to set the custom claims and retrieve those claims from the token. So the first step is to add the dependencies. So first dependency that we are going to search is io.json web token. So in the Google, what we do is we search for it and then go to the maven repository here and copy this dependency and add it to our here in pom.xml file. I'll format this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a package called util. Okay, and in this I'll create a class called JWTTokenUtil. Okay, so the first thing here, I'll add this component because I'm going to use the instance of this. I'm going to auto wire this class in other classes, that is controller class and other configuration classes, where I'll be generating the token and validating the token. So the first method that we are going to write is to generate the token. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to do this as public string because the token is going to be of type string. Now I would say generate token, and I'm going to use the user principal. And generate token is going to be invoked after the successful authentication of the user. So that means we already have this principal object. Okay, so here I have a typo. Let's fix this. Okay, and when generating the token, I also will set some custom claims, or to say that private claims. Okay, and claim is again claim is nothing but it is a bit of the entire token, where you can call it as a key value pair. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set just the authorities in our private claims. Okay, whereas the username is going to be my subject. Okay, that is nothing but the registered claim. Okay, so I'm going to create a map of claims, and the value is going to be of type object hash map. Okay, so next is I'm going to create a method called set custom claims, and this is going to be, I would say, set custom claims, I would say principal, okay, I have again a typo here, and then I'll pass the claim. Okay, then let's create this first. What I'm going to do in this is I'll create the list of string authorities, new array list. Okay, so what I'm doing is here I am fetching all the authorities from my principal, that is my user object, and then I'm going to set it into the map, that is the claims. Okay, so for that I'm going to say for all the granted authorities present in principal dot get authorities, I'm going to say authorities dot add dot get authority. So basically I'm converting a list of granted authorities to list of string. Okay, and finally I'll say claims dot put authorities, and this is going to be authorities. Perfect. So that's what we have here. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to generate the token. For that I'll create another method, generate token, and I'll pass my custom claims and the username. Okay, username is going to be my subject. Okay, so let's create that here. Private string do generate token, and I'm going to have this as map of string claims. Okay, so let's do that. Map of string object claims, and I'm going to be, this is going to be my subject. Okay, and okay, so I'm going to use the JWT API from the JSON web token package, and I'm going to use as JWTs dot builder. It's a builder class basically, and I'm going to say set the claims. First is the claim I'll set, that is my custom claims. Then I'm going to set the subject, which is nothing but my registered claim. Set subject, and the subject is my username. Then next I'm going to set another registered claim called as issued at, and this will be my date, that is current date dot, and what I would do is I would use the system dot current time in millisecond. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to set another registered claim called expiration, and it is always important to have an expiration for the token. Okay, we don't want a token to live forever. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an expiration of 5 hours. Okay, so if a token is generated now, then I will have plus 5 hours the token expiry. Okay, so for that I'm going to say again new date, and I'm going to say this as system dot milliseconds plus I'm going to set 5 hours into 60 minutes into 60 seconds into milliseconds. Okay, so that's how I get this. And again, you can also have this externalized. Instead of hard coding here, you can put this in properties file and then bring set it here. Next is the signature. We want to create the signature, right? So let's do that. I will sign with, I'll use the algorithm, that is signature algorithm from the JSON web token. I'm going to use HS512, and this is the secret key. So this secret key is going to be somewhere in the secured location. Okay, it can be an external, it can be available somewhere on the server secured location. It can be in the application properties file, just to demo. But just remember that this secret key is going to be somewhere at a secure location, okay, which is only visible or readable for to the application. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, for now I'm going to add it in the application.properties file here. So you can see that I have JWT secret key, and I'm having something called spring-security-jwt security key. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to load it in my util class here. I'll call this as private string secret key, and I'll add an annotation. Okay, and I'll auto import, and this is going to be my secret key here. And finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the compact, and this is going to return me the token. Okay, so what we did, we first added the claim, that is a custom claim, and then we set the subject, then the issued at, and then the expiration and the signature. The signature we are using HS512 with the secret key. Okay, so that is what we get the do generate, and then finally we are returning this here. Okay, perfect. So we are done with creating the token. So next what we're going to do is we are going to for any request after the login, any request comes in, we are going to fetch the username and the claims. For example, we are going to fetch the authorities, right? So how do we do that? So for that, first thing is, let's get the authorities, that is the custom claims. To do that, I'll have public list of granted authority, and this is going to be get authorities claim from token. This is going to be my token. Okay, so for this, first thing is we need to get all the claims, right? So for that, I'll create another method that will give me all the claims. To do that, I'll have a method that says get all claims from token. Okay, I would say private claims get all claims from token. And I'm going to use again the same API parser dot set signing key, and the key here is again this dot secret key dot, I'll say parse claims JWS, and that is going to be token dot get body. So this is going to return us the claims. Perfect. So I'm getting all the claims. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the specific claim. For example, I'm going to get the authorities. So how do we do that? For that, we need to have another method. Let's create that, and I would say I'll make this as public and say that, and I'll use generics here because this is going to be used, the same method will be used to get the subject, the expiration date, and can also be used for authorities. So I'm going to use this as get claim from token, and I would say this as string token. I'll pass the token, and then I'll pass the function, and this function is going to be claims and the whatever I'm passing here. I'll say this as claims resolver And here what I'll say is claims is equal to this dot get all claims. I'll get the tokens, and finally I'll say claims resolver dot apply and apply the claims. Okay, so finally and this is what is going to be the return. Okay, so that way we got the claims, and next what we'll do is we'll work on the authorities. Okay, so let's look at this. What I'm going to do is here I will first get the claims, that is all claims, and say this as claims is equal to this dot get all claims from the token, and then I would say, I'll create a list of granted authority. Okay. So what we're trying to do is in the token we have a list of string. If you see here, that's what we set here, right? We have a list of string that we have in the custom claims. Now from the token we get that list of string, that is the authorities, and convert it into the granted authorities, that is a list of granted authorities. So that's what we are trying to do here. We'll get this, and then I would say this has authorities, okay, and is equal to claims dot get object would be authorities, and I'll typecast it to the list. Okay, with this what we'll do is then we will check if authorities is same as null, then I'm going to return the authorities. Okay, else what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this okay, this is something I guess wrong. It should be a list of string, and I have to create basically the list of, hold on, I guess here is something I have missed. It should be list of granted authority, and I would say this as a return value. Okay, and I would say this as null for now as the initial value. Okay, and this will be my return value. Okay, next is what I'm going to do. If it is not null, then I have to convert it. So to do that, I would say return value is equal to new array list, and then here I'm going to convert this to string dot map and simple granted authority new dot collect, and I'm going to convert this into, I'm going to collect it to a list, and this would be my return type. So I hope you're getting this. This is Java 8, where I am converting a stream of string, that is the list of string. I'm mapping it to the simple granted authority, and I'm collecting as a list, and then I'm finally returning it. So that's how I'm going to get the authorities from my token. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to have token validation. So how do I validate the token? So there are going to be three main parameters that I'm going to validate. One is the subject, the other one is I'm going to compare the subject from the token to the username. Okay, and then I would I would also check for the token expiry. If the token is expired, that means the token is not valid. Okay, so to do that, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the username, okay, from the token. So let's do that. I'm going to have public string get username from token, and I'm going to say this as return get this dot get claim from token, and here is what I'm going to do is, and the subject, basically username is nothing but the subject. So what I'm going to do is claims get subject. So you can see that's the reason why we used function here in our get claim method here, right? So that's how it's going to be. The apply method is going to use the get subject and return the required value. So that's how we're going to get the username. The next thing is what we're going to do is we're going to get the expiration date from the token. So let's do that. Public date get expiration date from token string token. And here I'm going to do the same thing, get claim, and this is going to be claims get expiration. Okay, next is I'm going to check if the token is valid. How do we do that? I'm going to have this as I'll make this as private because I'm going to use this method just internally. And let me scroll this little here. Okay, I guess now it should be clear. Private, and I'm going to say this as boolean is token expired, and I'm going to say this as token again. I have a typo here again. Okay, fine. This is going to be expiration is equal to this dot get expiration date from the token, and I'm going to check this with my current time dot. If it is before the current time, then it means the token is expired, right? So that's how I'm going to use it. So now let's do the validation of the token. Okay, we'll have a method that says boolean, I'll say validate token, and this is going to take token as the parameter and the user principal, because user principal is required to get the actual user name. Okay, let me add here principal, and then I'm going to say string user name, and this is what I'm going to get from the token. Okay, this is my subject basically. Now I'm going to do the comparison. First thing is I'm going to use string utils dot is blank. Okay, if it is not blank. Okay, if it is not blank, what the username, and the username equals principal dot get username, and this dot is token not expired. Okay, it's not expired, only then this is valid. Okay, so I hope you're getting. So what I'm doing, I'm getting the username from the token, and then I'm checking whether it is not null and empty. Okay, Then I'm comparing the username with the one that I have in the user principal. Okay, and they should be equal. And then finally I'm checking that the token is not expired. So all this condition met, then it returns true, else it is going to return false. So once we get the token validation, okay, assume that the token is successfully validated. What next? The next step is to create the authentication object. So how this authentication object is going to be used? This object is going to be set in the Spring Security context, and that will be used during the when the request goes through the filter chain. This authentication is going to be checked in the security context. So let's create that. So here I'm going to do this public authentication, and this is from the Spring Security core, and I will say authentication, get authentication using username and the list of granted authorities, and the HTTP servlet request. Okay, so we are using user password authentication token, so I'm going to use that user name password token, and then I'm going to use the principal, that is nothing but the username here, and the credentials are nothing but my credential is null because it's already authentication, it's already a valid token. So I'm just creating the authentication here, that is the object of authentication post validation of the token. Okay, so I don't need the password. Next is I'm passing the authorities. Okay, so now I have the authentication object, and so what I have to do is I have to set the details. Authentication token dot set details in the web authentication details source dot build details, and it's request. Okay, and then finally I'm going to return this. Okay, so I guess we have all the util methods that are required for JWT. We have the generate method, then we have a method to get the claims, and then to get the username and to validate the token, and finally the get authentication. Perfect. I guess we have all the required logic in our JWTTokenUtil. So what we're going to do is, in the next session we are going to create few more configuration classes, and we'll see how we can use this util class and its method in those configuration classes. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.